Hold up.
Every day I wake up, wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Now in sports, the Colts beat the Falcons. The Jets beat the Browns. How is the Jets and the Giants record the same? Just both trash.
What
All
you
right.
mean? Because they both trash.
I know. The Saints beat the Panthers. Ravens beat the Vikings. Giants lost to the Bears. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. The Rams beat the 49ers. Lions beat the Commanders. The Chargers beat the Steelers. The Dolphins beat the Bills. And the Patriots beat the Buccaneers.
And my Dallas Cowboys did not lose this weekend. What's up?
Oh, for real?
Nope.
They had a bye.
Okay.
And then Monday Night Football, the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers. They ain't play. That's why they ain't lose. All right.
Right. I'm like, they got a bye week. It's crazy. Okay.
Good morning, Mimi.
Good morning, MB. Jess, Charlamagne. How y'all doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Good morning. All right, so we start this morning with breaking news. After 40 days, there's finally some movement on the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Now, overnight, the Senate took its first major step toward reopening the government, with 8 Democrats breaking ranks and joining Republicans in a key procedural vote to move a new funding deal forward. Now, the final vote was 60-40, enough to start the debate on the bill, but the vote doesn't end the shutdown just yet. Now, the measure still needs to go before the Senate for a final vote, then approval from the House before it can head to the president's desk for his signature. Now, here's what's included, though, in that new bill. Now, this plan would keep the government running through January 30th, restore pay for hundreds of thousands of furloughed workers, and make sure they can't be laid off again through the rest of the fiscal year. It also requires agencies to rehire anyone who was let go during the shutdown, along with details on how much back pay those workers are owed. Now, the deal also promises Democrats a Senate vote mid-December on extending the Affordable Care Act's tax credits, a key tool that helps millions afford health coverage. The Democrats, they will get to draft that bill themselves, which was a key compromise, they say, in them voting to approve this new spending bill. It also locks in a full year of funding for SNAP, ensuring that food benefits continue through the next fiscal year. Now, the 8 Democrats, Dick Durbin, Tim Kaine, Janine Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, Jackie Rosen, Catherine Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, and Independent Angus King, they all backed the plan after weeks of behind-the-scenes talks with Republicans. Now, after the vote, several of them held a press conference to explain their decision. Let's listen.
It's been 6 weeks. Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over. We tried to keep working that. It didn't happen. The vote that we have, there's not a guarantee for sure. As I assessed it, there was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown continued. Now, I don't know, 50-50, nothing was happening, and there was no evidence that another week or another 2 weeks or Thanksgiving or Christmas was suddenly the Republicans were to come to us and say, oh, we want to now talk about the ACA.
The real question is, why would a president of the United States pit hungry children against sick children? The American people will see who stands with them on health care and who does not. And that will be the platform of the next stage of the fight. I hope we can find bipartisan agreement on an extension of those premium tax credits. And if that is not successful, then shame on the Republican Party and shame on Donald Trump.
They are absolutely right. But as I was saying last week, Mimi, I think Democrats lost. And the reason they lost is because Republicans already got everything they wanted in this big, beautiful bill in regards to health care. So why would they ever make any concessions? You know Republicans weren't going to give Democrats any type of win on Obamacare. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not even mad at Democrats. I'm mad at all the Democrat talking heads who acted like Dems had a chance at winning this shutdown. These folks knew what the outcome was going to be, and they sold you a lot of false hope, and we shall address that during Donkey of the Day. Don't be mad at Democrats. They did something they don't usually do, and that's fight, okay? Do not make this about Democrats caving because they threw a Hail Mary on behalf of the American people who are about to get their asses kicked because of these health care premiums, courtesy of Republicans.
Absolutely, Charla. It's also worth noting that none of the senators who voted for the deal are up for re-election. So as of right now, this is just a first step. The government will remain shut down. Federal agencies are still closed. The programs that millions of Americans rely on, from food benefits to airport staffing, they will remain frozen until the House votes and the president signs off. But coming up at 7, we're going to continue breaking down everything tied to the government shutdown, from an overnight snap ruling to the latest on air travel.
Right, and the reason it's taking long is because they have to fly back to vote, right? And a lot of them are home right now, right? That's the reason why it could take a couple of days.
It could take a couple of days, but there's also Democrats who could hold it up, and Hakeem Jeffries is promising that he's going to do whatever he can do to hold this vote up. So we'll just see. I think they're going to use, the House is saying they're not going to vote for it, but they have the majority for the Republicans. So we'll see what happens, MV.
Well, if they flying, ain't no telling when they're going to get there. I'm telling you right now.
They're spread out everywhere.
They might get there Friday.
They've been told that they could, stay on vacation. So we'll see.
By the way, I told y'all Thursday that once the airlines started having problems, that this government shutdown was going to be over in a couple of days, because it's always corporate interest over the interest of the people.
Absolutely.
You best believe that.
All right. Everybody else, thank you, Mimi. We'll see you next hour. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. Now, in football, the Colts beat the Falcons, the Jets beat the Browns, the Patriots beat the Buccaneers, Dolphins beat the Bills, the Texans beat the Jaguars, the Lions beat the Commanders, the Rams beat the 49ers, Seahawks beat the Cardinals, the Bears beat the Giants, the Ravens beat the Vikings, the Saints beat the Panthers. All right. Now, in Monday Night Football, the Eagles take on the Packers at 8:15.
And you can't say the Cowboys lost this week, can you? Nope.
No, they had a bye, so they didn't play. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, MB, Jess, Charlamagne. How y'all doing?
Blessed, black, and highly favored, Mimi.
Good morning. All right. Well, we start this hour with an important update that came down just hours ago, really, just before midnight. So for the second time, a federal appeals court has ruled that the Trump administration must pay full SNAP benefits for November. But those payments are still on hold for now because of an earlier ruling by Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. So let's break this down a little bit because it's a little complicated. So this all began when a district court judge in Rhode Island, Judge John McConnell Jr., he ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP by Friday's deadline. Now, he made that ruling after the government failed to deliver those partial payments it had promised to do. So the administration, they appealed Judge McConnell's decision. They asked a higher court, the First Circuit Court of Appeals, to stop the payments. Now, that court, it rejected the Trump administration's emergency request to pause the order. So then the administration appealed, they went even higher to the Supreme Court. And that's when you get Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who handles emergency requests from that region. She stepped in. So on Friday night, she issued a short administrative stay, basically a 48-hour pause, telling the appeals court to act fast and make a decision. Now, that ruling, it came Sunday night, so that brings us to present day. So late last night, a 3-judge panel from the First Circuit Court, they said the administration cannot block those full payments. So in plain terms, the appeals courts, they have sided with families, but that pause from Justice Jackson, it stays in place until Tuesday night. Now that does give the administration a short window to ask the full Supreme Court for more time. But if they don't, Congress has ended, and if they don't, and Congress has ended the shutdown, by then that would mean that the government will start paying full SNAP benefits, or the government will start paying full SNAP benefits after Tuesday night. That makes sense. Did y'all stay with me? Okay. So as you can imagine, it's been a mess. Different courts are saying different things. No one is sure what to do. So in the middle of all of that, the Trump administration, they told states, so if states paid out those full benefits, they were told to take that money back. They said that the USDA, they issued a letter to states basically saying that to undo those payments, threatening penalties that if they don't. So if you received full SNAP benefits, the administration says you were wrong, you should only receive partial payments, and they want those full benefits back. So we'll see what happens. Yes.
How you give me something by mistake and then try to take it back?
Yes. So they're saying that they were unauthorized. The states were unauthorized to give full payments, but so much litigation was happening in the courts, no one really knew what to do. So some states, I know Oregon said that they're not going to take it back. If you got full payment, then you get the full payment. Some states did the partial payment. So it's still a mess. They're still trying to figure out what that looks like.
Republicans want folks to starve. Republicans want folks to be sick because they won't be able to afford health care. So what do Republicans want American citizens to do?
That's crazy.
to want to take that back. And so now to the chaos in the sky. So travelers across the country are facing the worst travel meltdown since the start of the government shutdown. Hundreds of thousands of passengers had their flights canceled or delayed on Sunday, marking the single worst day of air travel disruption since the shutdown began 41 days ago. So the federal government's partial closure has created a severe staffing shortage. We've been talking about that among air traffic controllers, many of whom have now gone more than a month without pay. Controllers, they are retiring, calling out sick, leaving fewer people to manage the skies. But to protect safety, the FAA ordered airlines to cut daily flights 40 major airports and reduce that air traffic by 10%. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the situation, though, is getting more dangerous and there have been too many close calls. Let's listen.
We're now looking at the data. We see an increase in a loss of separation. Airplanes are in the sky, becoming too close to each other. They're breaching that safety distance. Number one, we see ground incursions. We also see more complaints from pilots that are saying, hey, I'm getting a lack of responsiveness from the controller, or the controller seems stressed, or they're not using the right language that controllers are supposed to use. Those complaints have also increased. So we look at that in total and say, this is going in the wrong direction. What tools do I have to deploy to make sure we can keep the flying public safe? By the way, those who say this is political, this decision to reduce capacity by 10%, it didn't come from me. It didn't come from the White House. It came from the safety team in the FAA, the career people who do this every day as part of their jobs.
Yeah. So by Sunday night, airlines had canceled more than 2,800 flights, delayed over 10,000. And to your point, Charlamagne, the economic hit, they said it could reach hundreds of millions of dollars each day if this continues. But there is some hope. We've been talking about the Congress, the Senate reaching some sort of deal. If that were to happen, this could all come to an end. But for now, travelers are being told to pack their patience.
Yeah, I told y'all Thursday, when the airlines started getting hit, this government shutdown was going to come to an end rather quickly, because it's always corporate interest over the interest of the people. And I did fly this weekend. Thursday when I flew out, the flight kept getting delayed. Then when we finally got on the plane, we was on the runway for an hour. And we was the number 19 flight to take off, and it was 10 flights behind us. And then when I came back Saturday, and I was supposed to come back Sunday, but I came back Saturday because I didn't even want to risk it. And when I came back early Saturday morning, they said they had to fly slow coming back into New York, because we were supposed to land like in an hour and 10 minutes. They were like, we got to fly slow because I guess the lack of air traffic controllers, and it was too many people coming in. I don't know what it was, but they said they had to fly slow. I was like, what?
Yeah, when I had to go by Newark Airport, and it was the amount of planes on the runway. It was like 55 to 60 planes just sitting there waiting to take off. It's ridiculous. But what language were they using? Because they said they weren't using your typical language. So what were they just doing? Like sucking their teeth?
Know.
Like, nah, you can't land right now. Go back up. Like, what language were they not using? I'm just curious.
I know, he did say that, right? I don't know what the air traffic controllers were saying to the pilots when he says typical language. Maybe they were just, like you said, just talking like, I don't know what you should do.
Dang.
I saw one of the TSA workers throw one of the plastic bins, man. He threw it. And then the person he worked with must have said something to him. He was like, I don't care. We're not getting paid no way.
It's true.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's true.
And then my mother-in-law was saying a perspective that I haven't even looked at yet over the weekend. She was like, I remember like a lot of people wanted to work for the government just to ensure job security.
Yeah.
And then now look, you know what I'm saying? They make it hard to get in the government. But at one point, almost everybody wanted to work for the government, just to have that job, the benefits and everything that comes with it. And then now look, that's crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, and President Trump is also floating a new idea this morning. You may have heard of it. Over the weekend, he posted that every American could soon get a $2,000 dividend. Money he says would come from profits of his tariff policies. He also called people who oppose his tariffs fools, adding that the U.S. is now the richest and most respected country in the world. He says those extra dollars would go to most Americans, except for those people earning high incomes. But if you are expecting a $2,000 check in the mail, not so fast. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says there's no formal plan yet, and that so-called $2,000 payment could look very different than what people are expecting. Let's listen.
the $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms, in lots of ways, George. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. So, those are substantial deductions that, are being financed in the tax bill.
Didn't they say that earlier this year too, Mimi, when they was making all those cuts to Doge? I think they was floating a $5,000 stimulus check or something like that. They always say that when they see people hurting financially, but they're not going to do it.
They are not going to do it. Yes, President Trump went on a rant on social media this weekend talking about that, but his officials, including White House economist advisor Kevin Hassett, he said that they are just brainstorming ideas. There is no formal talk on this. They want to just, get the ball rolling on something that Congress can think about, but it is not a formal policy proposal. So sorry to people who were tweeting that they were going to get a $2,000 check. It doesn't seem like it is going to happen. All right, y'all. Well, that is your front page news. I'm Mimi Brown. Follow me at Mimi Brown TV. For more stories, follow the Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app or visit BINnews.com.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you, Mimi.
Hold up. Every day I wake up. Wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?